Hello and welcome to Salty About Health. My name is Dalaney Algier, and I'm here with my mom and co-host, Mary. So, Mom, why are we salty about health?
Good question. It's because both of us have had struggles, some more serious than others, and no one showed us simple ways we could jump into the driver's seat and take control.
And why are we sharing our views with our listeners?
Well, because we want our listeners to realize that it may take time, but with some simple knowledge about health, they'll be able to make a few changes and dig deeper to take control of their well being and live a more vibrant life.
That's fantastic. But right now, before we get into all of that, we just need to do some housekeeping. Here we go. This is an opinion-based podcast. This is not in any way offered as a diagnosis or treatment for any disease, illness, or infirmity for physical or mental condition or any other condition you may have. We are not doctors or practitioners of any kind. Persons needing medical care should obtain it from a medical practitioner. So, consult your practitioner before making any health decision. The opinions offered here in this podcast are ours alone. Again, we're not doctors, and the banter you're going to be listening to is our view and our view alone. Okay, that's done. We, of course, also want to have an open dialogue with our listeners. So stay tuned to the end of the episode, and we'll let you know all of the ways that we can connect. Welcome, everyone. Today, for episode 41, we have a guest that some of you may have heard of before. We will be talking to Tina McDermott of Tina's Joyful Kitchen. Her tribe consists of 90,000+, so I'm positive some of our listeners know exactly who Tina is.
Yes. And for those who have not heard of Tina, they can check out her website at the end of this episode. Just go to Tina at tinamcdermott.com.
Okay, so let me quickly give you some more information about Tina. She has an extensive personal and professional experience on the subject of health and wellness and has been working in the industry for some 20+ years. And her goal is to reach out to as many people as humanly possible through health, wellness, and exercise to help make this world a better place.
Yes, you'll see on Tina's website that she runs the gamut on topics from weight loss, the natural way, to showing her clients how to prepare simple and healthy foods, to the importance of nutrition so her clients can live a healthy and vibrant life. She also talks about the importance of a joyful gut and how to reach that goal. All these topics are amazing, but we saw that Tina also talks to her clients about breaking the emotional chains that bind them and keep them from reaching their health goals. I'm not sure Dalaney and I have broached this subject before, so I thought this would be a wonderful topic for us all to dig into.
And now we have Tina here with us. So, Tina, you've been in the health and wellness field for over 20 years. Can you just fill us in on why and how you got into this and where you are today with it?
Oh, wow. That is a huge question. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me on the show, Mary and Dalaney. It is a delight to be here. So let's see if I understood your question correctly. You want to know what inspired me to be who I am today? Did I get that?
Yes. And just kind of like your journey that brought you here and like what was the catalyst that started it all?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, I can say that when I was a kid, I was anorexic and I used food to control my parents. It's that simple. I look back and I know it's that simple. I used food to control my parents. And when I was only 19, my older sister at 23 was diagnosed with breast cancer. It's 10 years that we've lost her. And that was great emotion that I had to overcome. That was one huge piece, and it's fresh on my mind because, of course, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and people are talking a lot about it. And it's 10 years since she passed. And you know how I say that I want to affect as many people as humanly possible in this world. And it all started from the inspiration that I got from my sister. She suffered for a long time, and she had an amazing life. She had many, many people who loved her, as of course me too. So that was one huge piece. And of course, she's my older sister. So older sisters don't listen to their younger sisters. And she didn't want to talk to me about health and wellness. She wanted to do her own thing. So it was really emotional for me to not be able to help her on her journey. She didn't want that help. And then she comes up to me one day. She says, "Oh, did you hear about coconut oil and how great coconut oil is?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know all about it. I know all about it. Thank you." And so you see, that was a big piece that I had to calm those emotions. Now, I'm going to go backwards in time. I jumped ahead, but I'm going to go backwards in time. As a young adult, actually not as a child, I should say, in my teenage years, I had a lot of gas and bloating, and it was uncomfortable. And like, I would like, oh, it pains inside. And no one really knew why. My sisters even had a nickname for me, where my parents are off the boat from Italy. And my nickname was an Italian name called Puzza, which means stinky, because I had a lot of gas. It's that simple. And I was in pain all of the time. And I remember one year, I didn't eat a lot, right? I didn't eat a lot. I was controlling my parents. And one summer I decided my grandma was going to Italy, and she took me along with her. She goes, "Oh, Tina, you're coming with me." We went back and forth most of the time, but this summer it was just me and my grandma, and I was 12 years old. I came home 20 pounds heavier.
Wow.
I fell in love with food again, although I still had a lot of gas and bloating, still had all of those problems. But then I came home, and mind you, I was probably 90 pounds before I left. I came back 110, whatever. Well, my older sisters, being older sisters, they made fun of me. And it was really difficult to think that I was fat when I really wasn't. And having had those anorexic issues, so you can see there's this pile up of emotions that led me to eat more and exercise more. I became an exercise fanatic, because when I exercised, it was the only thing that calmed my anger and my emotions. I'm not going to tell you that it helped with my stomach issues. Yeah, I didn't get to that until I was in my 30s, quite honestly. I didn't understand and wasn't able to clean that up until I was in my 30s. And that's a whole nother story. So as you can see, I had this buildup of emotions. And again, I just became an exercise maniac. And of course, I went on to be a personal trainer, which is all great. So that's the basics of my story. And in my 30s, I found out that I had Lyme disease, which I likely had as a teenager.
Wow.
Yeah. And that probably perpetuated a lot of the gas and the bloating and a lot of the other issues that I had, but my immune system just kept, taking care of it until in my 30s, I couldn't take care of it any longer. And it really came to a big head, and I had to deal with it. I found out that I had Lyme. So that's the basics of my story. And I hope that answers your question.
Oh, it does. And I am so sorry for the loss of your sister. That's very sad. But I found it interesting when you said that you used anorexia to control your parents, the eating. So how and why? What was the dynamic there?
Great question, Mary. I was the third child in an Italian family. My parents were off the boat Italian. And it was chaotic, to say the least, growing up. My father came over with his siblings. My mother came over by herself and was in the mix with my father and his family. And his father, my grandfather, died the year before I was born. So my father was the oldest child of his 5 other siblings, became the head of the household, if that makes sense. In an Italian family, no, you're the head of the household. You got to take care of everybody. It was a very stressful life. My mom was not very happy. We make fun of her. I'm sorry, but her name is Valia. And so we always say that she was on Valium. I could see the fun there. And she wasn't very happy because she was by herself in this country without her family, integrated into a crazy Italian family. And I was not very happy either. I was very clingy with my mom. I was very clingy with my grandmom. They couldn't put me in kindergarten. They couldn't put me in kindergarten because I got expelled.
Oh, wow.
I got expelled. I literally got expelled because I was very afraid of the teacher. My mom never let me out of her sight or my grandmom's sight. And to be with other people or another person, she scared the pieces off of me. I just can't tell you. And so those are the dynamics. I was anxious, stressed. Who knows if I had Lyme disease as a child either? I don't know the answer to that. Possible.
So then with that connection and working with clients, when did you realize the importance of addressing your clients' emotions on the journey to health?
When did I realize that I need to help my clients with that?
Yeah.
Many, many, many years ago. Understanding that I have emotions and that I eat out of emotions often. It's calmed down now. I don't have those major issues now, but understanding that I had those issues, I was always looking and searching for modalities to calm my anxiety. And I found a lot of modalities and I use all of them. So I can't tell you exactly when, because it's been this lifelong search for things to help calm me down. Exercise was the number one thing that I found. Exercise took me right from anger to, oh, I feel human again. And then other modalities like the emotional freedom technique, I use that often. Breathing exercises. I had a breathing coach for a while. I can talk all about breathing. And over the last 4 years, I've been using a process called the peace process, which it's almost like hypnosis. It's not hypnosis, but almost like hypnosis, where it really calms you down and brings you to a sense of peace without, and here's very important to me, Dalaney, Mary, very important to me, is that it's without having to go into the past and revisit any traumas. I'm not that person. I know there's many people out there. I'm not a therapist. I'm not. And I don't want to go into the past. And I've always said to any of my various therapists throughout the year is, don't take me back there. Can you just take me forward? Don't take me back. I don't want to revisit it. Just take me forward. And it wasn't until I found the peace process that you don't have to go back there. You just release whatever those emotions are, let them go and come to neutral about them. And it's amazing the world that opens up for you.
So I think Mom and you might have discussed some of like the tools that you're using maybe from the peace process or your other modalities. I think Mom mentioned like clapping, counterclockwise, the cross crawl, and that peace process. So can you explain, maybe like take one as an example to explain how that's helped like one of your clients with their stuckness and just breaking the chain and coming to that peace that you were talking about?
Well, there's different things. Okay. There's different modalities, right? Mm-hmm. Do you want me to just kind of run through them so that it would make more sense? Yeah.
Yeah. Even
Sure.
the ones that you've touched on. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make a little sense of it. Okay. So you just got off the phone call and it was a your boss yelling at you because he or she doesn't know how to talk properly and just gave you a whole bunch of work and you got stressed out, right? So now you're stressed and you've got all of this stress around you. You can do a few things, okay? You've got the stress. It feels like it's coming at you. You clap your hands, and I always have to think, and you clap your hands counterclockwise in front of you. And it kind of breaks up that energy and makes you feel like really silly that you had to stop and you had to think something different and you clap and it's so much fun. Even I'd start to giggle when I do that. The other thing that you can, and it breaks up the energy, makes you laugh. The other thing you can do, this is so easy, is you get up and you jump up and down and you change your energy. You dance, you get rid of that stress, you move it out of the way. Does that make sense? Yeah, fun?
It does.
Yeah,
Yes,
great.
yeah, you just jump up and down. Other things that I do is I'll run up and down the steps just to break up that energy. And walking breaks up the energy because walking is a cross crawl. Anytime that you cross over right side to left side, the right side of your brain talks to the left side of your brain and vice versa, and it literally resets the central nervous system. Now, if you're confined in a meeting and you can't go walking or jumping or any of that, you can do another simple cross crawl, shoulder to the opposite knee. Just sitting in a chair, standing up, shoulder to the opposite knee. Anything that is crossing over resets the central nervous system and breaks up that stress. It just breaks it up. I'll give you another one. I'm full of them. I love them. I love this. So your collarbones, don't beat yourself up too much, but below your collarbone, just tap on it. Just tap on it. It changes your energy. It brings so much wonderful energy to your body and it breaks everything up. And you can just do it and you're like, oh, that feels good. So, because there's all of this emotional freedom technique, tapping is what it's called. And they make you tap here and here and here and here and everywhere. And you know what? Just tap right below your collarbone. Wow, it really changes your energy just by doing that.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say, I agree. I do that. That's a K1 point.
I like that one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we all do. We love that.
The gorillas know what they're doing, don't they?
Yes, they do.
They do know what they're doing. So those are some quick, fun ones that you can do in a heartbeat, right? Just to break up that stress. And so instead of going to, okay, I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to go grab that box of cookies and I'm going to eat the cookies because I'm so stressed out. I need some kind of dopamine hit from sugar. So instead of doing that, give yourself your own dopamine hit by doing a cross crawl, doing the reverse clapping, doing the tapping, and, saying, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. You got to remember to do it. You got to remember to do it. And another really good one is just breathing. I'll give you another example. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're walking to the bathroom and you stub your toe on the coffee table and you go, you hold your breath. Well, it causes more stress, right? It causes more pain in your toe. So instead of holding your breath, because think about it, we hold our breath. Instead of holding your breath, take long, deep breaths. Even longer exhales. And you're so focused on your breath that you're not focused on the pain. And you're oxygenating your body, and that helps to help subside the pain. I'll tell you a story. I was on an airplane coming back from Florida, and when I was there, I think there was mold in the apartment I was staying in, and my ears started clogging up on the airplane. And I was in so much pain. I thought my ears were going to burst. I was in so much pain. I tried everything that I knew, stretching my jaw. And I'm like, Tina, breathe, because you cannot be in pain and be breathing consciously at the same time. You cannot be anxious and breathing consciously at the same time, actively. And you cannot be depressed and breathing actively at the same time. So I started doing my really long, deep breaths. I had a breathing coach. I was doing it right there on the plane. I had people on each side of me. I didn't care what they thought of me. I just kept breathing this way. I was in so much pain. And I was so afraid that on the descent, my ears were going to burst. I got my ears to pop about 10 minutes before the descent.
Oh, that's great.
And I did not burst my ears. And I was so incredibly, wow, thank the Lord that I was on this journey of breathing and learning this breathing modality that you can't breathe and be in pain at the same time. And when that clicked with me, when I remembered that and I started breathing, it calmed the pain down. It was in my lungs. I was inside of my body breathing. So those are some examples. The one that I didn't touch on was, or is, the peace process. Would you like for me to talk to you a little bit about the peace process?
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
great.
So the peace process I learned about going on 4 years ago from a fellow named Christian Michelson. And he's literally a marketing coach. And he does a lot of healing because he has found that a lot of coaches, because he believes the whole world needs to be coached. I believe the whole world needs to be coached. And there are so many hurdles that people need to, any business owner, whether you're in health and wellness or you are somebody who needs health and wellness or are an entrepreneur, you need healing in order to overcome those hurdles. And when I learned this peace process, and I started doing it before I even got certified as a peace process practitioner, I started doing it. I became a natural at it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've always had this energy. I just needed this little modality to perpetuate it. And the peace process, I'll give you an example again. A client tells me, Tina, I'm extremely stressed when I listen to the news. My husband plays the news or he listens to the news all day long. I cannot stop listening to it. And it's just giving me a lot of anxiety. And I want to eat all of the icing off of the top of every cupcake in the entire world.
It sounds like me sometimes.
And, my first thing is stop listening to negative input. And it was impossible for her. So we did this peace process. So I wanted to set the stage. And what I had her do is just kind of relax, lay back, and close your eyes and go inside of your body and find the feeling. You're not in your brain thinking about the news and the stress and the cupcakes. You're in your body, and you know what a feeling in your body is if you've ever had butterflies, right? You know what butterflies are. And you find, you dive deep and you find whatever that feeling is, whether it's butterflies or whether it's just a gnawing pain in your jaw or a pain here or a feeling. So you go in and you find this feeling, and I have you focus on the feeling. Feelings are like an oil lamp, and you don't know how much oil you have in there. And sometimes these feelings, they dissipate right away. Other ones take a little bit longer, a few minutes, a few hours, a few sessions. So I have them focus on that feeling, and that's it. Give it a color, give it a shape, and it might grow, it might shrink, and it might move. So you're focused on the feeling and I'm guiding them through the entire time. And when thoughts come in your head, say, no, thank you. Thank you for now, but no, thank you. Focus on the feeling and send it love. Tell the feeling it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I love you. And you dive deep right into that feeling. I had another client. She had an issue with a daughter. And I asked her, what's going on in your body right now? And she says, me and my daughter were 5 years old and we're held in hands and we're having a good time. And then she was at neutral. She was in fun. She was in neutral. She was in love with her daughter. Back to that neutral. And you just stay there. You stay with the feeling and you send it love. And some people have a harder time sending it love, and it's okay. Just say, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So the idea is to bring them to neutral, not to a level, like I always ask, what level are you? 10 being the worst and 0 being I feel nothing. You know, if they're at an 8, well, we don't want to bring them to a 3. We want to bring them to neutral. You keep going until they're at neutral. keep going until you're neutral. I can tell you it is the most beautiful process I have ever gone through. And I've gone through it many, many, many times to help overcome those emotions that have sabotaged my life. And
I love that.
Yeah, I am so grateful to Christian Michelson for teaching me this and helping me find it within me to help so many people with this peace process. So thank you for letting me go through that with you. Thank you.
With that and your experience and knowing your client's experience, are you seeing like a common theme with most people with those emotional chains that are binding them? Is it family, friends, self?
I wouldn't say self, okay? Because a lot of people blame themselves.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not, Dalaney. It's there's always a stressor, an exterior stressor. Whether that exterior stressor is something going on now or was something that happened to them when they were between the ages of 6 and 8 years old that they're not going to be able to put their finger on, that is still affecting them to this day. You can say the color blue to somebody and it will trigger them to be 8 years old, and whatever that incident was has nothing to do with anything other than their own issue that they need to have resolution over. So it's different for everybody. And, some people, it was the stress of the news. Other people, it's the stress of a husband not having a job. Other people, like I said, the common theme is stress.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the common theme. It's stress. The stress of, having issues with her daughter. There's always exterior stresses that are leading people for that dopamine hit, that sugar fix, so they can feel better right now because they don't feel good right now and they want to feel good. And there's other ways other than food to get you there. There's all of these modalities. And what else can you do to make you feel good right now? Smell a flower, pet a kitten, pet a dog. There's so many things. And because I've had so much anxiety throughout my life, there's many things that I do to help calm me down. Again, all of the modalities that I taught you or that we've been talking about, as well as having 3 dogs and 2 cats. And I'm very close with my family. So although they cause stress sometimes. But no, I love them. But
as all families.
Yes.
So I love how you explained all of that in the modalities. But what is the hardest part for your clients in breaking free from the emotional chains that keep them stuck in their lives? Like what is that leap that they have to make to start doing the modalities? What is in the way for them?
I call it gremlins. A lot of people have a lot of gremlins, and there's what's in their way. There's so many things that are in their way, Mary, and this is what I can say. Of course, stress is in their way, cupcakes are in their way, all of those things. And I believe, as I had said earlier, in order to overcome hurdles, you need a coach. Even me, it's hard for me to take myself through the peace process, to do the deep dive. I need my coach to bring me there, to help me with those things. So I think coaching and having a professional with you to help guide you through that. And I think I answered your question, but I'm not sure, Mary. It was a little deep, that question.
You did. And I love how you say sometimes, like cupcakes are in the way, because sometimes when we're going through this, we think, oh, someone purposely, did that and is trying to sabotage us. But I totally agree. A coach is so beneficial, and it does get you to where you need to go. And a lot of people, given the opportunity, if it's on their own, they'll go for the cupcake, but if they have a coach, it's, so much more inspirational, and they lead them to the right path.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I just, and I like how you also said that you they just need to take the first step. You said that early on. And I think of that all the time because as a health coach, I think of that all the time when I get people coming in and they always say, but, and then they negate everything they said prior to that. And I always look for, there's got to be some kind of magic switch I can just turn on, because it is small steps and it's just them actually taking the step. And they don't realize that, I think sometimes, you know.
But they did take the step. They're on the phone with you, or they're there with you in your office. They took the very first step. And now it's a matter of us guiding them, you guiding them. What is the very next step? Some people need to take tiny little micro steps, and other people can take leaps. I fear the leaps because there might be some learning pieces in between. So I like when people go little by little and do one thing at a time. Drink water. Drink water. Turn your TV off at least an hour before you go to bed. Read a book. Simple things. Simple things. And back to the coaching, I think it's pivotal. It has been pivotal in my life, and it's pivotal for anyone who wants to live a life that's healthy, full of health, full of vibrancy, and free from dis-ease, free from any of those diets, because Mary, we don't need those. We don't need any of those fancy diets. You just need to eat the way that Mother Nature taught us to eat. And again, have the coach to help you with the tiny hurdles and the large hurdles.
Oh, that was perfect. And I love all those amazing techniques you were talking about.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say to our listeners, and also let them know where they can find you?
Absolutely. And I have a conviction that we are here in this life for joy. We are here for joy, and strive every day for joy. You might not reach joy on every single day, but just strive to be a step above, drive towards joy, because we are here for joy. You can find me on my website, tinamcdermott.com. And if you'd like, I have a reboot guide, a little free ebook. Is that okay? Can I give that away?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a joyful gut, because everything's about joy, right? The joyful gut reboot guide, just the basics on how to live, the small steps, right, that we were just talking about. And it's tinamcdermott.com/JG, joyful gut. Thank you.
Perfect. Dalaney will add that to our notes.
Yes.
So yeah, everything, and if you want anything else added to the notes, just let Dalaney know. She would love to do that. Mm-hmm. This has been such a great interview. It was perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mary. Thank you. It was fun for me. You see why I have to stand up, because I got to talk with my whole body.
Yes.
Yes. Being Italian. Yeah. we're actually Italian too. So
yeah. Wonderful.
Yes. That was resonating with us, with the crazy families and such. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for listening. And again, we want to hear from you guys. We always want to hear from you guys. Please, please, please reach out to us. And here are just a few ways that you can do that. You can reach out via Instagram and Facebook. Find us at Salty About Health. Even Snapchat at Salty Health. You can email us at saltyabout.health@gmail.com. Or if you just want to find all that in one place, check out our website, saltyabout.health.com. We've got all the ways for you to listen and connect there. And finally, if you like what you hear today, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. We really appreciate it. So, Mom, if they want to hear from you on social media, where can they find you?
Okay, I am a certified health coach, and I do coach one-on-one. So if you're interested, you can contact me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com. I also do research for people who are interested in finding alternative approaches to do in conjunction with the health issue or illness their doctor is treating them for. So again, just reach out to me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com.
And of course, I'll be the one mainly keeping an eye on the social media. So always happy to chat with you guys via the Salty Network. Also, just want to shout out our intro and outro music. It is by Yule, and you can find her at www.yulearts.com. That's EULARTS. You can also find her on Instagram at Yule_arts or Spotify and YouTube. Check her out. Her piano music and everything else is amazing. And until next time, stay
Stay
salty.
salty.